all those books, like all the Neville Goddard books, reality transferring and all that. Like he breaks it down so. I
Yes.
listen to his stuff while I'm like doing Uber Eats.
I saw that. That's pretty cool. All right. First things first. I'm gonna go over some two people's trades real quick. Then we'll do a little bit of back testing. I'm also writing a book right now on trading psychology, which I was just looking at. This right here. What's that? Let me just close that out. I'm writing. Well, I'm writing it in Dutch now because that's easier, and I'm just gonna be translating it to English once it's all finished. I think this is a really, really good book, or like I should book. It's like an ebook, like a 25 page or something like that. I personally think that it's really good. I can't wait to release this. So I'm writing it in Dutch for my team members, because you guys know I work for a firm. But then I'm also going to be translating it to English. So I'm going to be probably releasing that maybe tonight. Kind of depends on how like when we're done with the session, because it won't take me like an hour to translate it to English. So yeah, I'm really excited about sharing that. Are you gonna sell it? Well, no, I'm just gonna give it to you guys. I mean, um, well, yeah, technically it's gonna be sold because you guys paid to be in here, but um, yeah. So I'm really excited about releasing that. You guys can see it, right? On my screen, yeah. All right, yeah. So it's like it talks about how how self confidence applies to trading, how mindfulness and meditation, fear of missing out, a bunch of different emotions like fear, greed, frustration. It even talks about the limbic. I don't even know if that's a proper English word for it. Let me, before I make a fool out of myself. Limbic system? Yeah, I know that's what it is in Dutch. Yeah. So we talk about the limbic system a little bit, which is basically a part of your brain that helps you or that identifies and regulates emotions. Oh, it literally says it right here. Um, and it applies in trading a lot too. You've probably heard me mention the prefrontal cortex before, which is something that is responsible for making decisions in trading or in general, and not just in trading, but like in general, your prefrontal cortex is responsible for making decisions. So we're going to be talking about that too in the book. So I'm really excited to. Well, I'm probably going to release it tonight. I might just stay up a little late so I can finish it. So yeah, I'm pretty excited about that. I think you guys will like it. Anyways, let's get started. We're gonna go over someone's trades first, unless you guys want me to do something else first, because I know it might not be fun for everyone to watch me go over someone's trades. So I'd like to ask you guys too, what would you guys like to see, or what would you guys think would be the most helpful for one of these live sessions? I want to make sure that it doesn't get too repetitive, because I want to make sure that it stays entertaining and it stays fun too. So so I'd like to ask you guys if you guys want me to do anything during these live sessions to make it more enticing or to help you out more. And then in the meantime, whilst you guys think of things, I'll go over some trades. I'm also going to pop out the chat too so I can look at that when I'm going over the trades. All right, let's see. There we go. Honestly, like when you're backtesting and ask RP, I go, oh, all right, cool. That's good to know. Yeah. All right, we can do that in a bit too. Yeah. Actually, one more thing that I've been working on. It's currently in Dutch, but I'll make sure to release it in English too. Hold on, let me just stop sharing my screen for 1 second because there's private info in there. But one thing that I do want to give you guys, I've been making these exams basically, or these essays, so to say. I'm gonna pull one up right now just to show you guys. All right, let me start sharing my screen again. Once again, they're all in Dutch. Reason for that is because I do a lot of training for my team too. So you guys know that I'm working for a capital management firm right now. And there's 2 guys in there who I'm training to basically trade the same way as us. But they give me the financial means to basically, hold on, let me turn this on too, to basically go all out. So I can kind of make pretty dope stuff, and I can just translate it to English and also give it to you guys. Anyways, yeah. So we've made all these, basically these exams, so to say, for traders. So it's all in Dutch right now. I'll just skip the ones with the questions because you guys can't read it anyways. But there should be a couple with like actual like images. Let me just see if I can find it. It's also randomized, so sometimes it'll have no images, which is a bit annoying, but yeah. Maybe there. Hold on. All right, I can't find it right now, but I'll send it to you guys afterwards. Anyways, let's get started. We're gonna go over Luke's trades first. Then we'll go over. I still don't know how to pronounce this guy's name. Illicool's trades. Shit, where's Discord? There we go. And then we'll do a little bit of backtesting and do what Joseph said. And we'll, oh shit, what the fuck is going on? Where's my chat? All right. Yeah, and then we'll go over what Joseph said and do a little bit of backtesting. So, we go over Luke's trades first. Well, I'm not going to go over Luke's trades, but who keeps joining and leaving? It's pretty annoying. What's up with that? Hold on. Where's my Discord chat? Okay, cool. Yeah, so Luke asked me for some feedback on his trades, but we noticed that every time I give him feedback, it's not necessarily really improving the results as much. So I'm trying to think of like different ways to help you guys out instead of just saying like focus on liquidity, focus on overall trends, whatever. I was thinking of doing basically a testing session together with one of you, like we did on call once. But I was thinking of maybe doing like a Calendly link, you know, like the planning in like a what's it called? Like a one-on-one session for like 10 to 15 minutes, just 10, 15 minutes. And basically have you guys test with me for 10 to 15 minutes. See if there's anything we can do within that 10 to 15 minutes. Because usually there's a pattern that I'm able to spot within 10 minutes. Because I don't want to have it like take up too much of my time, because otherwise it's going to be taking me like 10 hours a day. But I was thinking of doing that, so I'm going to let you guys know how I'm going to approach that, but I am still figuring that out. I think you guys will like it. Anyways, Luke. So Luke asked me what I mean by forcing trades. So when I'm talking about forcing trades, hold on, let me rephrase that. When I'm looking for trades, it never takes me more than 2 minutes to analyze all of my pairs. And I mean that, like, it never takes me more than 2 minutes. The whole joining and can I turn off the joining sound or like the leaving sound? Is really annoying. Anyways, when I'm looking for trades, it never takes me more than 2 minutes. I'm just honestly like I'm going over the charts like this. I've shown you guys this many times, but like I'll go over it like this. Like there's no point for me to look at it for like 20 minutes straight. If there's a setup, I'll be able to spot it. What I mean by forcing trades is, let's say I'm unable to spot a setup right now on this pair. But if I zoom out, oh wait, there we go. Then again, if I zoom out even more, maybe there's something else we can see. Maybe if I go on to the daily time frame, now we're bearish, so maybe I should look for shorts instead. Basically over analyzing everything. Same here. I saw a pair just now and thought I wanted to look at, but all right, so let's say right here, for example, right? At first glance, there's nothing to see. basically I don't see anything right here. There's nothing to see. However, some people might go look at it a little bit more in depth and be like, well, maybe this is a valid trade. But then they zoom out and they're like, well, maybe I should be looking at that. And you just end up forcing a lot of trades. You can go to settings, notification. Oh, thank you. I'll do that in a second. Basically what I'm saying is forcing trades just means that you're constantly looking at things and trying to catch a trade. Whereas when I'm trading, it takes me 2 seconds to see if there's a setup or not. It doesn't take me any longer. And yes, I do miss out on setups every now and then, but I'm okay with that because I know I'm not forcing any trades. Right now, what I'm seeing is that long continuation right there. So I'm going to flag that. But I bet if I were to zoom out, maybe there's like a daily range or something. There we go. There's a daily range that we're playing within, so maybe I should stay out, right? Like, it's just like stuff like that is ultimately going to make it really hard to consistently execute on decisions. So anyways, that's what I meant by forcing trades. He also asked me with obvious structure. So I told him to look at obvious structure. I was saying, like, don't go and look at things like this, for example, right? This to me isn't really structure, that right there. What I mean by obvious structure is clear candles, clear body closures, clear wicks, basically clear imbalance. No, you don't want to have doubts about whether or not a trade is valid. Basically, that's what I want to say. And what I meant by telling Luke to avoid messy structure was basically take into consideration more body closures, wicks, proper imbalances. You can just tell, for example, right here, you can tell that this whole range right there is kind of messy, right? It's pretty clear to see. And unfortunately, there's no easier way to describe this because it's just pretty difficult to see, to explain because it's all discretionary. But you can kind of tell that this is a sideways range. However, if you were to zoom out and look at like different price action, like right here, for example, we can tell that this is an uptrend. Basically, it's really easy to spot that we're trending upwards. So that's what I meant by avoiding messy structure. Once again, right here, you can kind of see that it's a little messy. Right here, it's really easy to see that we're trending up. So just avoid the whole sideways price action. Niels, how you doing? Oh, thanks. Yeah. Welcome back, Niels. I ran a half marathon, so it's only 21 kilometers, but my time wasn't great, 2 hours and 16 minutes, but it's okay. How are you doing, Niels, by the way? Also, no, that's it. He told me I've been focusing more on most recent price action, which led me to take trades against the overall trend, which recommend me not doing that. No, so I don't recommend necessarily, this is for Luke because he's going to be watching back. It's not like I necessarily recommend you guys to only stick with trend. I just recommend you guys that whatever you do, make sure that there's clear structure involved. So whatever you do, make sure that, especially when you're trading reversals, so especially when you're going against the trend, make sure that you have a really, really clear liquidity sweep with a clear break of structure and body closures and not, for example, messy structure. That's what I mean when I'm talking about clear structure, basically. Yeah, so we're going to go over Ilikul. I still don't know how to pronounce your name, sorry, but we're going to go over your trades real quick, and then we're going to do a little bit of back testing. Losses, BE, and wins. All right, let's go. Let's see what we got. Right. What do you guys think about this trade? Is this a valid trade or not? I think it's valid. Looks good. All right, looks good to me. Yep. I totally agree with that. What about this one? valid but aggressive. I agree with what Cosmin's saying here. I think it's valid, but it's a little aggressive, yeah. That trade too looks fine to me. Right. What about this one? What do you guys think about this trade? Still bullish, right on. This one, Illicool. I'm sorry, I really don't know. What is your name? How do I pronounce your name? Can you help me out? Because I don't want to be mispronouncing your name all the time. But anyways, Illicool 99. Right, that's his name. I'm not sure. Still bullish, right? Looking at the swing structure, right? High, low, higher high, higher low. There's essentially nothing that confirms that we're gonna go bearish here. Basically, there's no reason to try and trade to the downside in this case. You also have to ask yourself which structure is being broken. Is there a significant high or a low that gets taken? Because to me, the significant highs and lows in this range are these ones right here. So everything within that basically is, to me, that's not really significant structure. I'd like to see, if I were to look at for shorts, I'd like to see that low go, and then I'd like to look at shorts like that. Up until that point, I would still be looking for longs. So let's say we break to the upside. This long, if there was an imbalance, this would be totally valid for me. But for a long range, isn't that range too large? Yeah, it is for me. I wouldn't be taking that long either because it's way too large. I am saying though, however, that overall we are still bullish. So that means that to me, this setup kind of doesn't really exist. Because to me, this isn't really a significant break of structure, because you have to ask yourself which structure is being broken. Does that make sense? I know that might sound a little confusing at first. But remember when I told you guys also about like how price is telling a story, like it's a tale of price basically, and you're gonna have to ask yourself like what's going on here. And to me, it doesn't really seem like anything's going on here. Yeah, I don't want to nitpick too much on one trade because I have trades that don't look great either. So this one's totally valid to me. Oh, that's it? I thought there would be a lot more trades to look at. This one's really good. This is a perfect trade. This one's a little messy though, I will say that. Ranging and then this one's fine. And then there's one win. Alright, yeah, that's fine. But I'm fairly sure I already went over these trades. Didn't I? Like, I don't want to comment on these because I think I already went over them. Or John did, yeah. John already went over these on Friday. Alright, so that's it for now. It's overall it's looking pretty solid though. Like, I'll say that. Like, yes, there's maybe one or two trades in there that I wouldn't take, but overall the majority of these positions look pretty good. I'm gonna turn off that sound too. How do I do that? Oh, settings, notifications, settings, notifications. That's it, probably. Can you go over my trades at the end of the session? As I have like a 35 overall win rate, and I want to see if you can somehow help me agree. All right, yeah. First of all, nice. That is a very solid win rate. That's really good. 35% with a 1 to 3 R is very solid. 35. We're gonna show you. All right, start equity. Let's do 10,000 euros. Win probability 35. Win to loss is a 3 to 1. Number of trades, number of simulations. Boom. trending upwards. And if you extend that, if you have 200 trades, for example, that line just gets all the more clear and clear. So let's say 300 trades with a 35% win rate with a 1 to 3, you already have a really, really solid edge. And let's also assume that you're taking about between 100 trades, probably 100 trades a year, which comes down to about 4 trades a week, which is fair. Yeah, I guess that's fair. No, that's not 4 trades a week. Is it? No, it's 2. Damn. 2 trades a week, which is totally fair. So I would say about 100 trades a year. So your results at the end of the year could look anywhere from like, basically, you could either have a really bad year and end up around break even, or you could have a really good year and end up way in profit. Anyways, yeah, 35% is really good. We're gonna go and try and see if we can get that up to 40. You can't see the stream. I am streaming though, right? Aren't I? Should be, yeah. All right. So first of all, nice job. Good stuff, for sure. We're gonna go over. We're gonna do a little bit of back testing. All right, you guys pick a pair. What should we trade? All right, if no one's gonna pick a pair, I'll do it. We're gonna do CAD JPY. All right. Where's CAD JPY? What year? All right, let's do we can do 2018 because we've already done it on 2022. We already did CAD JPY. So all right. I don't think I've ever used FXV Play to go as far back as 2018, to be honest. And then until strategy. Oops. All right, there we go. But first of all, let me put on some music. One thing too is that when a lot of people are trading or when they're backtesting, they'll go over the charts a lot quicker, obviously, because you can basically just press forward. But when you're live trading, you're stuck looking at the same piece of price action for so long that you eventually just start seeing things that aren't there. What do you guys think about this trade? Yep, I agree. And also there's a bunch of equal lows there. There's pretty much no imbalance either. And also this structure, I mean, no, the structure isn't even the biggest issue, but yeah. Alright, so oh, I turned off the leaving sound, but I still have the join sound on. Well, that's fine. I'm gonna turn that off too. Just give me 1 second, guys. Notifications. Is that it? No, that's not it. Yep. Alright. There we go. What about this short? All right, so aside from what Niels and what you guys are saying right now, aside from that, what do you guys think is the main reason that I'm not taking this right now? Like, why do you think I'm not taking it? Basically, what Thomas has the correct answer. You see how I was at the last trade? I was looking at it like this, right? This is how we were looking at it. But then I started zooming out all of a sudden. You see how that completely changes my perspective on what I'm looking at? Because if I zoom out even more, I can now start looking at longs. So this is why it's important to always keep the same level of, well, I kind of want to say the same level of zoom, right? You want to be looking at the same piece of price action instead of like, because I was looking at this long trade like this, but then I suddenly started zooming out and started looking for that short. Then if I zoom out more, I can start looking at that long. You want to make sure that there's consistency in the way you look at the charts. So too large would be the right answer there. So we're going to go and zoom back in to what we're used to. And I'm fairly sure that if I go and look at all my other sessions, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm fairly sure that at least 90% of the time I'm looking at it like this. I don't think, and you guys might know this better than me because I don't really watch my own sessions back, but I don't think I ever look at price like that or like that. I might look at it a little bit more zoomed in even, but I'll never go past basically this level of zoom. At least not that I don't think I ever did, but yeah. That is a missed trade. What do you guys think about this? Nice. All right, let's take it. Well, it looks like our bias was correct, but we didn't get tapped in. Nice. This, by the way, is also a pretty common thing that I see a lot. It's like some people will still be looking at that setup, basically getting attached to their idea of what a good setup should look like. Um, um, what was that? Anyways, so people will basically get way too attached to what a good setup should look like. Meanwhile, I would already be focusing on more recent price action. However, in this case, it'd be totally valid if you were still looking for that short, because it is the swing structure, but I like to focus a little bit more on recent price action. Anyways, both of these options would be valid. This one's really nice. And I think, yeah, you would have been break even anyways if you were to take that trade. So both options are valid, really. All right, mistrade. What do you guys think about this trade? All right. We'll see what happens. Thomas says no clear structure, a bit of barcode structure. Well, let's see what happens. All right, so this would have been a winning trade if we would have gotten tapped in. I do agree with the fact that it's a little bit more barcode structure. The only reason I would say that this would be a valid trade is because we are so heavily bullish right now. See how we are, well, don't zoom out too much, of course, but you see how we're very, very bullish right now. If you're extremely bullish or extremely bearish, you can afford to be a little bit more aggressive with your setups for sure. This would have been a valid trade too, but it looks like we're too late and that would have been a loss. So remember that when you're trading reversals, when you're going against the trend, you want to be a little bit more, you want to have basically very clear structure. If you're trading a little bit more aggressively, or if you're trading continuations, I should say, you can afford to be a little bit more aggressive. And this is also why I've said this before too. I look at liquidity sweeps only when I'm trading reversals. That's when they're really important to me. Other than that, when I'm trading continuations, I'm not too big on them. what do you guys think about this trade? So there's a couple of different opinions on this trade. Joseph is saying the structure is a bit small. The structure that's broken isn't significant. Musty thinks it looks good. Thomas says, not so good. Swing structure broken? No. All right, let's break this down. Let's see what we got. So theoretically, yes, swing structure has been broken. It has not been broken by this. How am I going to explain this? It has been broken, but there's basically no imbalance here. And then on top of that, you basically have 3 equal lows. But we are already looking at the more recent structure, which doesn't really provide us with anything other than that wick break right there. Which to me would be more than enough to skip this trade. Once again, if I look at my winning trades, I know that if I pull up a winning trade right now, it's going to look a whole lot cleaner than that. I'm just going to pull up any random winning trade. And I hope I don't embarrass myself. Alright, yeah, so this one's a little bit more aggressive, but let's see if I can look at the more recent trades. Well, I'm kind of making a fool out of myself right now because this one doesn't look too great either, but you guys get what I'm saying. Like that, for example, you can really clearly see the structure. Where's the fixed replay? There it is. That's not to say that this wouldn't be valid, to be honest. It all just kind of depends on how aggressive you are as trader. That's why I think it's always such a difficult question whenever people ask me, like, what do you think of this trade? I kind of think to myself, like, does it really matter what I think of it? Because, like I said, like, if you give 100 traders the exact same trading plan, you're going to get 100 different results. So, for example, someone who might be trading this strategy for 2 weeks has way different results than me because, you know, it hasn't been suited to them yet. You kind of have to grow into it. You have to get the know to strategy. You have to get the know to know the way it works and the way you react to everything. This one doesn't have an imbalance, by the way. How long have you been trading this strategy? I've been trading this strategy for about 1.5 years. Well, to be honest, I traded the exact same way for a couple of years. The only thing that changed for me was I started to use the fib tool instead of the overall demand or supply. What I used to do was I used to basically just set my orders at the demand zone. Like I would take it like that instead. So the only difference now is that I use my fib or my entry. So I've been trading like this. Well, if I were to leave out the fib, I've been trading like this for many years, but with the fib, with like the 75 fib, for about 1.5 years. Well, this is an extremely boring pair. There's nothing going on. Alright, now it's nearing the end of December. We don't really trade the end of December, so... Alright, looks like this would have been a negative year because we missed out on one losing trade, so this would have been a negative -1. Alright. -1 on CAD JPY. We're gonna go over Thomas his trades real quick. All right, so for some reason I don't see my mouse cursor. There we go. Glad to see that you sometimes don't find a trade for a year, only a couple. Yeah, I only found 1 or 2 trades, and the one that I saw, I missed out on, and it would have been a losing trade too. Oh, yeah, sorry. I realized that this is not the correct server. Oh, I want to see that. Let's see what's going on. Oh, yeah. How do you feel about the results that you're getting, Thomas? I feel great, but some pairs I get discouraged because of the 0% win rate. I guess it's completely normal. Yeah, it's exactly what happened to me just now. We had a 0% win rate, and we would have had a -1 if I didn't forget to put on that limit order. I don't think there's going to be too much for me to say about your trades because, well, maybe that one. The only thing I would say is look at swing structure at that with that trade. But also, I remember that you, if I recall correctly, you haven't been trading this way for that long, have you? You've only been trading this way for like a couple of months, right? Yeah, so you getting a 35 or higher % win rate within a couple of months with basically 0 experience in the markets is already really good. So that is already, well, it doesn't matter that you've been trading for 4 years. I mean, every strategy is a whole new learning curve. You have to get to know it basically. So you only having a couple of months experience with this strategy is already really impressive. So I do think that you're gonna crank up your win rate in general, like just by yourself, just by gaining that experience. But we're gonna try and see if there's any tips we can give you. But I think that with experience, you'll be able to crank up that win rate yourself. But as of right now, I don't really have anything to say. I don't think there's a lot that I would have done differently, to be honest. Well, yeah. I mean, that's debatable too, right? Like, I would say, like, the only thing is when you're trading reversals, really make sure that you get a really strong break. But to be honest, it's such a minimal difference. Like, it's not gonna make a huge difference. Honestly, dude, like, I would say that there might be 1 or 2 trades that I wouldn't take in there just because I know that they don't play out often because of my experience. And they would probably be that trade right there. And where's the other one? No. And that trade right there. These two trades I wouldn't take. And I kind of just know that from experience, with such a small imbalance, and then also kind of playing within a range with a bunch of equal highs everywhere. That's why I wouldn't take that. But that's such a small difference, and that's something that's so heavily reliant on just experience, that I'm fairly confident that you'll be able to crank up that win rate yourself in a couple of months. I think in 3 to 4 months, you should be at like 38 to 39% win rate. I think so, really, because honestly, like pretty much, like I said, the majority of these trades I would take too. And you can clearly see that your results are there, right? Like it's very, very solid. So the results speak for themselves. It's funny too, because I know that if I look at my older backtesting sessions, not every single trade is going to align with what I'm saying right now. So this is also why I'm really like heavily pushing on you guys testing for yourself, and then trying to implement my tips, and then try to see if you can crank up your win rate a little bit. Because at the end of the day, it's all like everyone has to kind of create their own little system around their trading plan. Like I said before, like it doesn't matter if you give 100 people the same plan, you're going to get 100 different results. But these look good, man, really, honestly. And having a 35% win rate with just a few months of experience is definitely something to be proud of. All right, guys. You know what I think I'm going to do? I think I'm going to cut this session short so I can get to work on the book, so I can release that book to you in about an hour. I think that's what I'm going to work on, because I think that this is going to be so helpful for you guys, that I just want to get this out ASAP by tonight for sure. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys for tuning in once again. I don't know how you guys keep doing it. I personally think I'm extremely boring to listen to, but you guys obviously think otherwise. So, have a great weekend. Thank you. It's Monday, but thank you. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in.